And welcome back to another episode of the Grip It and Rip It podcast with Stock and Tops. I'm one of your hosts, Danny Tops, and this is my buddy,
Chris Stockwell.
And we are here to give you some more sports news and opinions.
That's what we're here for. That's what we live for, honestly.
It really is. We love to talk sports.
We love sports.
Hot topic debates and sports and beers and whiskey. All great things.
And trains of thought. Tangents.
Tangents is a big one.
Yeah, tangents might be the main thing. That's what we want to try to go on a little bit, you know.
Indeed.
See what kind of roads we can roll down.
So, what are some tangents we're going to get on today? What are the headlines that we got?
Well, I think that it's very easy to start off with what Noah Syndergaard did today. He is obviously phenomenal, and he never gets any run support. That came into play today, ironically, because he got what's not technically a real coined term, but that's what people are calling it, is a true win, where the pitcher bats himself in for more runs than he gives up to the other team. Noah Syndergaard today had a home run. He hit it oppo.
Yeah, it was an oppo. Yeah, it was a bomb too, opposite field.
And they won 1-0. He got a complete game. I think he pitched a complete game too.
So pretty much what happened today, Noah Syndergaard for the Mets came in, threw a complete game shutout, and then he also hit a solo home run in the game, which was the only run scored that game. So the Mets won the game 1-0, which gave Noah Syndergaard the win, and it gave him the only run RBI in the game. So they, like he said, Chris said it, they coined it a true win. I know we have some other stats here with it.
He put the team on his back.
That's a literal saying there.
Dog, let's go inside the mind of a Greg Jennings. Dog, I gotta do this shit. I put the team on my fucking back, though. My leg broke. I don't know how the fuck I'm running right now, though. I'll do this shit for Madden. Oh, shit. Darren Sharper, one of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league. But I put the team on my back, dude. Fuck it. You can't stop me. Cross the plane. Touchdown.
Put the team on his back. So I guess
like Greg Jennings, Madden, broken leg.
It's going to mind of a Greg Jennings. Oh shit! I broke my leg. So, but when I got here today, Chris showed me.
You're a Bears fan, and you can laugh.
I know, right? It's well, Greg Jennings hates Aaron Rodgers, so I respect Greg Jennings. But when I got here today, because I knew about, I got the update about this earlier today when I was at work, and you said that this has happened only 208 times since 1908.
Just to put that in perspective, each team plays 162 games a year.
Yes.
Times 30, whatever the fuck that is. And in the last 110 years, been done 208
Thank you,
times.
Technology. So we can
How many games is that?
32 teams times 162 games equals 5,184 games. Times that by 9 innings, that's 46,656 innings.
It's happened 208 times.
That's per year. If that's 46,656 innings per year.
It's more rare than a no-hitter.
Now, was this this number, the 208, was that based upon, if like you said that it matters, the pitcher brings in himself or, more runs than the opposing team?
He has to hit himself in more.
So it's his batting
his
himself
RBIs
in, so it's got to be a home run.
Yes,
then.
It has to be a home run.
So technically it could be like a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, but he'd have to hit 2 home runs.
And they have to be, so it couldn't be just a 2-run home run where he batted somebody else and himself in?
Correct. It has to be 2 separate home runs.
It has to be 2 separate.
In a 2-1. Now it could be 10-0.
And he hits all 10 home runs.
He can hit 1 home run.
Oh, I got you. Okay. That's okay. But what if
that's how the 208 comes into play?
Okay, so if he hits a home run and throws a complete game shutout, but the team scores 10 runs, it still counts as a true win?
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
I would love to know the stat for how many times this has happened. A 1-0 game, complete game shutout, and the pitcher's the one that batted himself in. That is the stat that I want to know.
Probably not many, but what I did see was that it has happened every 2 years for the last little run here. The last 3 were Strasburg, Baumgartner, and Clayton Kershaw were the last 3
to do it.
They've all done it.
Baumgartner doesn't surprise me. That dude fucking rakes for a pitcher.
And Dodger Stadium's kind of pitcher friendly or hitter friendly a little bit, right? Like,
I don't know. I was just at Dodger Stadium over the weekend. So I don't know. I don't watch the Dodgers all too much, so I can't necessarily speak upon their stadium. I would actually say that I would figure it's not hitter friendly. Actually, I believe because the walls are actually a little bit deeper there.
Right. My thinking is I feel that's why, but maybe with the climate and the air being a little warmer there, the ball might
help.
travel.
The ball's definitely going to travel more. That's for sure.
So
I would put them probably somewhere in the middle ground. I wouldn't say that they're one of the ballparks that are pitcher friendly by any means, but also wouldn't put it into a hitter friendly.
We might look up some stats on that.
Yeah, I think so.
Speaking of Steven Strasburg, today while I was writing this, he reached 1,500 Ks.
Ah, good for him.
His career, fastest of all time.
Is it really?
Yes, that's why I marked it down. I don't give a shit about 1,500 Ks. I care about him being the fastest to do 1,500.
I found that very surprising.
1,272.1 innings. So that's a third.
Okay, yeah, fuck, man. If he's got that many, the problem is
the thing is he should have pitched an extra 300, 400 innings.
And that's where I was going with that is that, he's had to deal with a lot of injuries over the course of his career. You remember him coming out of San Diego State.
I do.
And, he was supposed to be the next best thing. And, he has been. Has he lived up to the hype completely? I would say no. But
as like a number one pick, he's not technically a bust either.
I wouldn't even come close to calling him a bust. I think he's been a very, very solid
he's a number one,
number two guy. If he didn't have Scherzer in that rotation, he goes, I would say 25 other teams. Yep. He's probably the ace.
Yep. Well, they've always had guys around him too, whether it be Gio or Zimmerman. There's always been guys around him.
So he's been good. Strasburg has been good. He's got all-stars under his belt.
You can't call him a bust at all. I mean, he very literally was the fastest. The fastest to 1,500.
I find that surprising.
So it's not. You can't call him a bust at all.
No, I wouldn't.
Injury prone, maybe. But
yes, I definitely call him injury prone.
Not a bust.
Always seems to be dealing with something. So hopefully he can keep it. If he can keep it together for another 7-8 years, you could see him get close to that 3,000 club, which is, 3,000 club and Hall of Fame goes hand in hand for the most part. So.
He's like right on track. He might be a little behind pace due to the injuries, but
that's the problem. Can he stay healthy?
And
enough?
then that kind of.
You
don't
don't see
into a bigger play towards the end.
You don't see Nolan Ryan's pitching to 46 anymore. That's for sure.
The last one I can think of is like Jamie Moyer.
He did pitch to like 46, I think.
Yeah,
might have been 47. Yeah.
And in the field, Julio Franco.
Dude, I remember fucking watching those when I was young. Watching Julio Franco, I was like, this guy's still playing. He started playing before I was even born.
Far before, dude. Like he had been in the league for 12 years before, 15 years before you were born.
Probably.
Very seriously. And he was like an all-star then.
Yeah, people don't realize that he was really good when he came into the league.
Yeah. And he played forever. Awesome utility guy. I know we said we weren't going to talk about the Knights, but some noteworthy news has come up.
Ugh. Two noteworthy things have come up. I'll hit the first one. You can hit the second one.
Go
The
ahead.
first one is, yes, we did say that we weren't going to talk about the Knights anymore. We lied a little bit because obviously we have something in there about them today. But on the positive side of things, the referees from that Game 7 were not allowed to advance in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs to referee any more games. So that's great. Fuck those guys.
They're still big pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Because of you guys. You did that.
I know. They watched our fucking podcast. And
Thanks, guys.
And the NHL said, obviously, because Stock and Top said that these dudes should not be officiating anymore, they're not going to the second round.
That's a win.
It's a win in my book.
That's our first win.
That's literally the best thing that could have happened from that shitty situation. So that's good. And then other big news in the night world today.
Our GM.
Yeah.
George McPhee. He's known locally. GM. That's what everybody calls him. GM. He's moved out of the GM role and is just going to remain in the role of the president of hockey operations.
Mm-hmm.
He's promoted Kelly McCrimmon to be the GM now. So I don't know too much about Kelly McCrimmon, but we felt it.
Well, I believe Kelly McCrimmon was the assistant GM, wasn't he?
Was he? Yeah.
I believe so.
I mean, that makes sense. I didn't really know, but
he's had a lot to do with the assembling
of
the team that we have now. I'll put it that way. It's not a bad. Like I said,
McPhee held all the cards in the whole expansion type of thing.
He
But
did.
this guy was kind of like essentially in the war room when they're landing Stasny, Pacioretty, and Stone, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the one that's like helping out.
Yes, that's what I would put it as. Like I said, I'll never pretend to I'm never gonna sit here and pretend like I'm the biggest hockey expert by any means. When there's big hockey stories, I will bring friends of mine in that know hockey so that they can give us their take on things. But we pay attention to a lot of sports, so we know quite a bit.
It's vast. It's vast.
This
it's a wide range.
guy, from what I read this morning, he's been a vital part of the Knights' success in the first 2 seasons. So seems like a great move.
And we'd love for any
on the Knights' part.
hockey fans to give us criticisms or corrections
Yeah,
as well. Do whatever you.
We got a Facebook, we got a YouTube. Please send us a message, send us a comment, whatever you want to do. Same thing as always, guys. Questions, concerns, criticisms. Don't agree with what we say?
Tell us.
Tell us.
We'll let you know what we think about
That
what
way-
you think.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be fun.
And if you haven't figured it out from the first 2 episodes, fuck you. In the kindest way possible.
So moving on into another headline, it's big Champions League news, kind of. Barcelona has beat Liverpool in the first leg of the Champions League semifinal, so they're up 3-0 in the aggregate. The reason that we're mentioning this is that the goal that Lionel Messi scored in this game was fucking amazing,
Was it?
and I hope we can show it here.
I'm going to do that every time, though. Anytime that soccer's brought up, I'm just going to go,
Yeah. Well,
it's going to become a thing.
here's the thing. You could have walked up to the goal and thrown the ball into the goal and not put it in as good of a place as he kicked it from like
That's
35 yards out, dude.
Then that's why Messi makes the big bucks.
Shit was dirty.
Messi's the man, dude. For soccer goes, it's it's Ronaldo and it's Messi. It's really that's the 2 guys. Those are the 2 dudes that you know of.
Do you know how aggregate works and how Champions League work and how all that works?
I'm gonna say fuck no, but I'm gonna take a wild guess. Aggregate, I believe, is the total combination of goals scored, right?
Right.
And that has over a certain amount of games within a grouping.
2 separate things. So there's the group stage, where the group stage of Champions League pulls the top teams from all of the divisions.
Okay.
France, Germany, Spain, England.
Yeah.
All those teams go into almost like a World Cup pool. They play group stage. The top 2 teams of each group make a playoff. And then as you're moving through the semis, there's the aggregate is they play 2 games. And the cumulative score at the end of the second game, the winner advances.
What happens in a tie situation there?
At the very end, they shoot penalties. However, away goals are worth more,
Oh.
which is very it's pretty.
And this is saying that
It's
I'm not hating
No.
because I know you like soccer, but that's just so fucking stupid.
it was
Why do
it
you
was
play-
created before anything that.
It's like, one, why are you playing 2 games? Play a fucking series of 3. First off. Secondly, why are we adding goals? And why are there different fucking points given to different things? Oh, well,
Scoring away, dude.
it's a goal away. There's always a home and a fucking away. Learn how to play on the road. Fuck, dude.
But if you do better but if you do better away, you have a chance to make up more ground.
But I would figure that
Or you
it's
can
a
really
2-game series, right? So they're
Right.
going to play 1 home and 1 away.
Yep.
So the odds are the stage is set and it's equal. You get a home game
Yep.
and you get an away game.
Yeah.
So be better on the fucking road.
Or just win both.
There you go.
But it's crazy. So now they'll go into the next game, right? And Liverpool will be down 3-0 to start that game. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Soccer just. So what you're telling me is that you said this is Barcelona and Liverpool, right?
Yes.
So who was at home this game?
Oh, fuck, man.
You said Liverpool's down 3-0. What was the score of the game?
3-0.
So Barcelona was at home.
Yes. I assume so.
So, for instance, if we were to say Barcelona won this game 4-1, but Liverpool wins the next game 2-0,
Then
it's a fucking tie.
I think we're shooting penalties
That's so fucking stupid.
at the end of
That's why you play a series of 3 or 5 or 7.
Or a different sport.
Or don't play soccer at all.
It was in Barcelona.
That irks me.
So Liverpool got no away goals. So if they win 3-0 or
Oh, so then they would. So if it was opposite.
So now they're going. Yeah. So now they're going home. So if they're gonna be down.
If you're confused at home,
So
don't worry.
So is Dan.
I'm confused too, and we don't have to watch soccer. We have good sports here in America that people enjoy, like
basketball.
Let's move on.
Last headline. Moving into basketball, we want to, send out our well wishes to Danny Ainge.
Yes, indeed.
He did suffer
mild heart
what
attack.
appears to be a mild heart attack. He's headed back to Boston. Does seem to be stable and everything has checked out okay, and is expected to make a full recovery. But
I know it's
we like to joke and have a good time, but in all seriousness, hopefully everything works out.
Wish Danny Ainge well. I know it's his second one. He had a mild heart attack a few years back as well. But like you said, everything seems fine. He seems to be checking out everything. So hopefully, he can get back on his feet. Obviously, with the Celtics in the playoffs, I'm sure he would like to be at the games and not in the hospital.
Right.
But
it would be like Major League when the Indians managers in the hospital like screaming at the TV.
That's what it was having Kyrie around.
Yeah. That's what it's like having Kyrie around.
Yeah. But obviously, wish him all the best. Want him to get healthy. Hopefully, I'm sure he's rooting for the Celtics. As I said last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago when I said it, I think Danny Ainge is the best GM in the game. How he's gone about assembling the Celtics.
What he's been able to do in the last 6 years, 7 years with that team.
It's just
but
phenomenal.
He honestly, dude, let's back up even further. What he was able to do with getting Paul Pierce a ring, right? And then selling KG and Paul Pierce
to the Nets
for all of what has become this.
For all of King Midas's silver.
You have to give him major props for that.
No, that's
what you're supposed to do. That is what you are supposed to do.
It's the Belichick method. It's sell early, don't sell late, so you get a good return on them. And that's what he did when he got rid of Pierce and Garnett. He got a great return back from the Nets, and he's done nothing but great things since then.
Yep.
Trading people for picks,
acquiring solid free agents.
Acquiring great free agents,
Al
bringing
Horford,
in good veterans,
Gordon Hayward,
and building.
Kyrie.
And one thing that people don't realize too is doing an excellent job drafting quality talent.
Yep.
And I know there is probably one or some out there. In my mind, though, when you think of the Celtics, I can't think of a bad pick that Danny Ainge made in recent years. You got Terry Rozier, and he's dope. You got Jason Tatum.
Rozier
you got
would start on a bunch of teams. Jason
Jaylen
Taylor,
Brown, Jason Tatum.
Yep. All
these dudes are dudes that would play on other teams.
Kyrie trade.
Yeah.
Then he did the Kyrie trade.
Was big.
Free agent.
And you have
And he drafted Marcus Smart too.
Even
didn't
drafting Marcus Smart is what
I
I was about to say. Yeah.
Horford free agent.
he? Yeah, he's done an amazing job.
Horford, Hayward, and Kyrie, all within three.
He's done everything that he needs to do to put a team out
Gordon
on the court
Hayward
that
and Kyrie in the same free agency. Is that correct?
No.
Gordy. Yeah, you're right. Last year was both of their first year. Gordy just shattered his leg right away.
Oh, that's right. It was because it was big news that they got Gordon Hayward and then fucking
Because
game one.
Kyrie recruited Gordy Hayward to Cleveland, but then LeBron came back and fucked that whole thing up.
Yeah. So get better. Hopefully.
We're rooting for you.
And we'll see what the Celtics can do here. And
We are kind of right in the middle of the semifinals.
Indeed we are. And
I would say no major surprises. I mean, you're on the Bucks and I'm on the Celtics. That's a good place for us to start.
yeah,
Now we're split. You and I are split.
yeah. Pretty much every single series is split. Me and you are split. The
Our-
only
our
series that's
thought-
not split.
Our thought processes on Greek Freak are split at this point. He had a rough game one and he had a very good game two.
Yes, he did.
We're
We're gonna find out who's right here in a couple days. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes.
I'm not on the side of Milwaukee traveling, dude.
They gotta take. They
gotta get one.
That's what I'm saying. They let the Celtics get one in Milwaukee. So
This is
now,
a real series now.
Yeah. So they have home court advantage right now. So now Milwaukee has to go in and do the exact same thing in Boston, which is not going to be easy to do.
It's going to be more difficult than Boston winning game one.
I would probably, I think
Them to
you're
get
probably
one.
right.
They can do it. They
I
have
still
the
think
players.
they
and
have the shooting and they have Giannis, and I think that is enough. I think Giannis is that big of a problem if he can play to what he did in Game 2 and not shit the bed like he did in Game 1.
I think it's going to be tough, man. You're going to get these role players. You're going to get Baines. You're going to get Smart. You're going to get Rozier. They're going to be playing good at home. I just we'll see. Obviously it's
a best of 7.
Yeah, it's
there's a lot of games left to go.
This is the marquee matchup of the semis.
No, it's definitely the most fun to watch.
Portland, Denver too.
Portland, Denver's a good one.
Maybe second, but this is the creme de la creme in my opinion.
Portland, Denver is a good one. Obviously, Game 2 wasn't that entertaining.
I mean, Denver kind of shit the bed.
They shat the bed.
There was
a 12-point second quarter.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was fucking ball just would not go in.
Kind of in a lull now, and
yeah, that's not good.
They have a lot of first-time playoff guys, like real.
Well, then that's the thing too with the Nuggets. I think that they were surprised to a lot of people, and when I say surprised, I don't mean that in a way of, people were surprised that the Nuggets were good. I think people were surprised with how good the Nuggets played throughout the season.
I mean, they were the second seed.
Yeah,
right?
I believe they were the number 2. They were battling for number 1 for most part for a good chunk of the season. The Joker is, I would put him in the top 10 players in the league. I think he's that good. I think he's only going to get better. But outside of that, I mean, we can name
Mike Miller. Mike Miller went on air, like maybe his first take or something. He said that Joker has Hall of Fame potential.
It's a hot take,
but he said that early on. When he was when he was in Denver.
Really?
On the team.
Oh, then he obviously watched watch him play in practice, and you got to see it firsthand.
It's a credible source.
I would take Mike Miller's opinion on something like that. And then obviously, you look at the season that he had. And
it was amazing.
So, but outside of that, what does Denver have? Guys that we know.
What are they going to get from their guys? Like, we know.
They have Gary Harris.
We know Will Barton.
Will Barton.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray's good. They have a bunch of good dudes.
But none of them have any of that experience that you're looking for to take you. And not to say Portland has much more, but Dame's ready.
I think Lillard, McCollum's solid, but Lillard is
Damian
next
Lillard's
level.
Taking, and I don't know if you agree with me on this. Damian Lillard has taken a step over Russell Westbrook as far as point guard in the NBA. He's a top 5 point guard, but
I love Russell though. He gets triple doubles, man. Fuck no, Damian Lillard.
You were just playing devil's advocate to appease me.
Yeah, exactly. No, Damian Lillard in my mind has been better than Russell Westbrook for the past year, for this year and last. I think Lillard has been overdue for his respect, and he's finally getting it put on his name. But
I'm still in shock about that shot. I know we talked about it last week.
That was an amazing shot. But yeah, no, Russell Westbrook, he's not a team player. I'm not impressed by his triple doubles really, because a lot of the time it's fake. It's his teammates allowing him to get the rebounds. He turns over the ball way too much. So no, I think Lillard's a much better player. I think he's a much better scorer. Obviously, a much, much, much better shooter.
And he blocks up on defense too.
Yeah,
Russ had he gave Russ the work basically.
I saw a great meme on Facebook. It was the Infinity War scene when Thanos is in the Soul Stone and he's talking to little Gamora, and she asks him, "What did it cost?" And he says, "Everything," right? And it was a meme of Russell Westbrook and little Gamora, and she said, "Did you get the triple double?" And he goes, "Yes." "At what cost?" "Losing the series." Fucking cracked me up, because that's what he does though. He worries about his own fucking stats instead of the team. So yeah, no, Damian Lillard definitely above him. I'd put Damian Lillard in the top 3. I would go Kyrie, Steph, Damian.
There you go.
That's me. By far.
I still think today, maybe not long term, but today you got to put Steph ahead of Kyrie. But I'm on.
Oh, I was just saying those are top 3.
Okay.
I wasn't numerically putting them.
We're not going to argue that now. We'll save that for another day.
Exactly.
The Warriors. Nobody here's surprised they're up 2-0 at all. No one's surprised.
No
one's surprised.
What
do you want to say about James Harden though? Is what I want to know. That's
if you watch the show,
when you gave me the notes earlier, you were like blah blah blah. James Harden, this that. I was like, I don't even care.
Did it not make sense?
No, it made sense, but I was just like, I am very curious to just hear what you have to say. I don't even want to do my own.
My text to you was, and I was giving headlines earlier today, and I said, Harden can't see but puts up best game of the playoffs.
Please elaborate for us, please.
So if you guys have watched anything about the Warriors Rocket series, The Rockets bitched and complained about game one, about the officiating, and that was kind of ridiculous because the officiating was pretty terrible on both ends of that game. It was not specific towards the Rockets at all.
The report came out there were like 81 missed calls, and it essentially cost the Rockets 16 points. But the officials had to take a stand, dude. They had to not let him act a fool on national television, cry for everything.
No, that was Chris Paul was the one crying about everything, and Harden too. They both cry about everything. And the stat that I found out the other day is that through the last 5 NBA championship playoffs, the Warriors have been the leader in fouls received in 4 of those 5 years. They've gotten more fouls called on them in the last and throughout the playoffs.
Average per game.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if they win all, they play more playoff games than everybody else.
Yeah,
so the number is higher, but the average per game
is higher
is the
too.
highest.
I mean, Steph had 5 fouls in game 1,
and he should have fouled out 2 times.
So it's like you're complaining about fouls, and it's like they're calling the fucking fouls.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, it was a terribly officiated game, but so the Rockets were bitching about game 1 and lost. Then the Rockets came back in game 2. Early on in the game, I believe it was Draymond hit Harden in the face, and he has contusions, which is a fancy medical term for bruise.
Bone bruise.
In his eyes. I guess he got tested. He got tested.
Just ricochet, like rocked his eyeballs off his skull or something like that.
I guess so. If you've seen the pictures, it looked like James Harden had been eating wholesale ass for like all night. I mean, it is #ass eating season after all, but
oh god.
I mean, if you ever seen the movie Knocked Up, when they all answer the door and they all have pink eye, that's what James Harden looked like.
All right, so the last NBA series.
Oh, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
My bad.
The whole point of that was James Harden with his fucked up eye. So he went out. He couldn't. He said he had blurry vision, couldn't see. He started the game shooting 0 for 3. He finished 9 for 19, I believe, overall, or that might have been the 3-point total, and finished with 29 points and shot 47% in the game, which is his best stats pretty much so far.
Kind of
his
mediocre
best shooting
to
percentage
shoot like that, though. He needs to get a shooting percentage.
But that's it. That was his best shooting percentage so far in the playoffs, was when apparently he couldn't fucking see.
All right, I'm done talking about people that aren't going to matter in a week.
Fucking gotcha, James.
The last series that's going on right now is the Raptors-Sixers series. That we talked about that last because that game was actually going on while we were talking.
Yeah.
But it has ended. And the Sixers won in Game 3 at home. And they are up 2-1 in the series. They won pretty handily. They won by 21 points.
Oh, okay. That's a middle-of-the-road series for me. I'm rooting. If I had to pick a side, I'm rooting for the Raptors because I would like to see Kawhi do well.
Yeah.
And I am being a Bulls fan and Jimmy Butler being on the Sixers. Granted, I did like the Sixers. I don't like the Sixers anymore because Jimmy Butler's on the team. I think Jimmy Butler is one of the biggest cancers in the NBA. And I think that you could go back to any team that he's played for thus far, the Timberwolves and the Bulls, and you could see how he's literally caused problems with both of those teams. And he's done it with the Sixers already too. And I think that will ultimately be their downfall.
You know, it's funny that he ended up going there because I'll go on record and say I'm not a fan of Ben Simmons. I think that he's overhyped, and I think that he's essentially a poor man's Lamar Odom.
That's a fiery hot take. But I respect it.
I am not a fan of Joel Embiid and his expert level trolling. I'm a fan of trolls, but I don't think that when you're in the NBA that, like, in your face of a franchise that you should be out here running around
getting caught up in Mia Khalifa's DMs.
And that's not even it. But yes, you're right, but it's beyond that.
Hey man, shoot or shoot.
And then for
Simmons is never gonna be in her team.
Yeah.
No.
And for Jimmy Butler, who we've that interview that he had when he was about to be traded from the Timberwolves, I think it was with Rachel Nichols, like that, and he was so confident in himself. and it just rubbed me the wrong way, man.
I don't have a problem.
It's so fitting that all three of them are together. I'm not a
I could see your disdain with Joel. Does it bother me? No.
It bothers me. That's the thing. As a player, he's fine, but I wouldn't want him for me. Like if it's my franchise,
is it a distraction? That's the question.
He's not my guy. Like talent, fine, but and I'm not knocking his talent. He's one of the most well-rounded, completely like all physical, like all tool centers in the league.
Yes, by far.
Like him and like offense, defense, shooting, ball handling, like.
And
sure.
Simmons,
but he's a head case.
Give Simmons a little bit more time. Like our producer said, who will be a guest spot here soon on one of our episodes. He said,
one of these days we'll get
Joel Embiid, if sliding into Mia Khalifa's DMs is example of shooting, then Ben Simmons will never end up in her DMs because the motherfucker don't shoot.
He still
has yet to make a 3 in his NBA career.
We're going to have a Ben Simmons 3 watch, and I'm going to love it.
Where's it go?
Right here.
How many threes did Ben Simmons hit today?
0. But speaking
we should check just so we're not fucking assholes. What if he hit his first one today?
Hit his first one today, then we need to fucking have a celebration. Give me some whiskey. We're fucking partying.
All right, we'll take a shot if he hit one today.
Ran into like a half court shot already.
I don't know, man. I mean,
he's afraid of ruining his shooting percentage.
You watch these games, man, and they fucking dare him to shoot.
Dude, they play 4-on-5 in half court offense.
It's ridiculous.
It's
like
0 for 0.
Fucking practice the shit over summer one time.
But all right, they won by 21, so like
because he's really good. I know you're not a fan, but he is really good. He's really a great passer. He's got a great basketball IQ. Can get to the paint.
He's one of the best transition players in all of basketball.
Yeah.
But these playoff games are going to be won in the half court.
But this is why, out of all things that we just talked about, I want the Raptors to win, and it's because it's still one of the funniest videos that I think I've seen. And we can put it right here. It's the fucking Kawhi Leonard laugh video, but when they do the Sports Center music over it. So
I don't even know where you're sitting at. Like.
it's the but it's his laugh. It fucking cracks me up every time. So we'll put that up there for you so you can watch that one and get a good kick out of it.
We'll have to.
Right here.
This one's going to be like right.
So we'll use that to segue into our next sport.
Underwater basket weaving.
Hardest sport out there. Do we have one? Do we have any more basketball? I think that was it, right?
No, that's it.
All right,
Basketball
good.
wise.
Fuck basketball.
Warriors
are going to win it. We know.
I want Boston so bad. I want you to be wrong.
I'm going to root against I want myself to be wrong. I don't want to be right. It's hard to be me.
I think what it
and
boils
be
down
right
to is
all the time.
I'm an optimist, right? And I don't like the Warriors. So I'm like, please God. What team is it that could do it? And it's like the only team that could do it is Boston.
I am rooting for every single team that plays the Warriors. I'm just too damn smart to think that any team's actually going to get it done.
Yeah, well, shit in one hand and wish in the other and see which one happens. Fills up first.
Yeah, guess what? It's my wish. Because the shit would be me being dumb enough to pick one of these other fucking scrub teams to beat the Warriors.
That's what I'm doing. I'm shitting in my own hand.
As long as it's not diarrhea, you'll be okay.
Oh, God.
So,
speaking of diarrhea, no, I wish.
Rule 47. Shit breaks are always allowed. Next up, we have MLB. What's going on in the baseball world? So, baseball is always a little bit tougher to get into because it's such a long season. We try to do an episode a week, if not, more than one.
But we just want to keep you up to date.
Exactly. We want to keep you up to date.
Any pertinent information, any news.
So right now, surprise team to some, maybe not others. The Rays still playing
them
really good baseball. You had them. I had them winning
the wild card.
I still think the Yankees will take the AL East.
But you called that, dude. First episode, you said that surprise team to watch.
I did.
Tampa Bay Rays.
It's because, dude, they got a solid squad. They really do.
They're rolling right now.
And momentum means a lot. If you could have yourself a good first half, that's all you really need in baseball. You just need to have a good half in baseball, a good one. If you could be average the second half or the first half, then you can make the playoffs like that. Baseball's a very streaky game. What's the best streak you can get on? Can you continually win series 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1? Could you get on a nice little 6-game win streak?
And when you're not hitting, can you manufacture runs?
Exactly. Can you play small ball? If your fucking pitching's playing lights out, but you can't score more than 2-3 runs in a fucking game, you're not going to win games. But if you can get guys on, get them over, get them in, score 4 runs a game, you're gonna do well.
And that's what Tampa's doing.
And that is exactly what they're doing.
Matt Duffy has been cleared for rehab. He's their third baseman.
Yeah, I know.
So that should be good. I'm not actually familiar with him.
Yeah.
Is he pretty good?
He's all right. I wouldn't, go. That's not. I wouldn't say it changes anything necessarily.
I mean, you'd think it could only make it better. Just one extra guy.
Just an extra bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it written down, but I don't want to forget. I'm thinking about it right now. We had it on last episode. We moved on from Vlad as a prospect to watch onto
Vlad is
Justice
playing.
Vlad's playing, and we were talking about Justice Sheffield being the next guy.
Yeah.
They called him
And
up.
Justice got called up.
Also.
Didn't have too good of a game, though.
No, but they
Last,
called
I
him
think
up.
it was a 2 2/3 innings.
Yeah.
Gave up 3 runs or something.
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, it's
Even
young.
so,
It's gonna
we're
happen.
on.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have bumps in the road.
Exactly. That stuff happens. So
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on him too as the season wears on. The Red Sox report that Fortnite is counterproductive to the team's success.
Do you really fucking think so? Bottom of the 4th, 2 outs, man on third, and Andrew Benintendi's not on
He's
deck.
building forts.
Where's Andrew Benintendi? Oh, he's in the fucking clubhouse playing Fortnite. And now I don't know if it was actually Benintendi that was doing it. I'm using it as an example of what the fuck you doing? This happened, who was it? Was it the Phillies last year? They reported this 2 people playing. What the fuck are you doing?
They were playing it in their lockers last year.
They're playing during the game.
The Phillies
were for
but
sure.
Boston, no, but they're playing in their locker before and after games. But the Phillies during games were playing Fortnite.
Yeah, but it's like you're playing baseball as quickly as you can so that you can get back to Fortnite. That's what you
Yeah, literally.
Exactly.
That's obviously what's on their mind is not baseball or the next at bat or the situation at hand. It's literally, when's the fucking next time I'm going to get a dub in Fortnite?
Listen to this hypocrisy. It's a royale, like a
Battle Royale.
Yeah. Last year, the Red Sox took a team trip to the Microsoft studios to actually see the game. And David Price, at that time, admitted to playing about 3 hours a day. Right when he went on the injury list with carpal tunnel.
Are you fucking serious? That came out as a
I
report?
wish I was making this shit up, dude.
I mean, David Price is probably the biggest pansy in the MLB. Apparently, he's gotten better, but I've always heard, stories that he's a terrible teammate, that he bitches and moans about everything. So it doesn't
seems a little
surprise me.
prima donna-ish.
Yeah, he does. So it
being,
doesn't
being
surprise
an ace,
me.
being a starting pitcher, Nathan Evaldi said, maybe if we were doing a little better, maybe we could be doing it, but you can't be losing and playing Fortnite in the clubhouse. End quote.
You shouldn't be playing Fortnite in the clubhouse at all.
Probably,
Wait till you
period.
fucking go home.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Is it that hard? Is it that hard if you're in Boston to go to your fucking baseball game, which you make millions of dollars to do, play a good game, hopefully get a win, then go home and play Fortnite? You have to do it in the clubhouse? Are you that addicted? It's sad, dude. It is fucking sad. And Fortnite's a shit game.
I'm not a fan.
Fortnite is a shit game with shit developers, and fuck Epic and all of them. They only pander to themselves and to the streamers and shit. I played Fortnite a little bit back at the beginning when it was cool and it was tight back in season 2, and it just progressively got worse and worse. And it's just a whole bunch of sweats building these stupid ass forts and then pandering to their fucking streamers and shit like Ninja. Why the fuck is that man making $500,000 a month playing a fucking video game?
Because Drake was watching his stream and was like, "Yo, Ninja, if you win this shit, I'll Venmo you $5,000." And then
Fuck Drake. Fuck Drake. Go put on a Cubs t-shirt. Give him another 108 years of fucking losing.
If you guys aren't familiar with the Drake sports curse, that's a real thing.
It really is a thing, though.
Hopefully.
Like, we like to fuck around and have some fun, and I talk a little bit of shit. But
It's
that is a
literally
real thing.
everyone, dude. It's literally every team that he's supported.
He
so-
wore an Alabama shirt.
Ready for
Clemson
a
won.
subject then?
Hmm?
The curse is broken.
Who did he wear?
Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I mean, we're talking
That is true.
championships too.
Fuck you.
Oh God, I thought I hated Drake before.
Now I just hate JD.
I hate him even more. And I hated his last album, which is exactly the same as his last two albums, which was exactly the same as his other albums. Because fucking Drake's
You
come
can
out,
thank me now.
regurgitated the same shit. Now, like, I like some of old Drake stuff, but like, God, there's some. I know this is a massive tangent out of the sports world, but man, there are some fucking Drake homers and stands out there that are just the worst. Every album that comes out is the greatest fucking thing since sliced bread, and they just drool over the Drake album like it's just this piece of work that has come down and blessed us from the heavens above. And I listen to it, and I'm like, this sounds exactly like the last album. It just blows my mind.
Today in Cubs watch.
Did they win today?
I don't think they played today.
They won yesterday, though,
Yeah,
didn't
they won yesterday 11-0.
God, you hate to see it. It's just bad for America when the Cubs are good. It really is.
The Cubs are 16-12, and they are 2.5 games back. Would you say that John Lester is the best free agent signing they've ever had?
The Cubs?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, speaking from a completely objective point of view, and I set beside my Cubs hatred, I would actually probably say yes. He went there before they were good. He was the ace that helped bring them to a championship and win a championship. So I would have to say, yeah, he's probably the best free agent signing, at least value-wise,
I
and
agree
what he
with
brought
you.
to the team.
I agree with you. That's why I asked the question.
So, yes. As you can see, fans, I can put aside my
His begrudging hate.
my hate. I could put beside my homerisms and whatnot for actual statistics and values, but I do mean it when I think that the Cubs being good is terrible for America.
See what this is.
This was right around the time of carpal tunnel syndrome.
It's a real thing.
Dude,
I wish I made that up. I wish I was good enough to write like that. That Fortnite Red Sox story, I wish I was good enough to like have just made that shit up. I'm not. That shit's real.
dude, the best story I've read in the last month is definitely the Bleacher Report about Aaron Rodgers, by far. And that's a whole nother subject that we're not even going to get into.
I neglected to read it. I actually am sad to know that he's a piece of shit. I liked him for a long time.
I'm surprised you didn't know he was a piece of shit. Like, it's been well known for a while that he's a piece of shit.
Dude, I understand. Here's the thing. I understand, like, needing to keep people from what you've got going on, but I'd never really looked into the depth of it all,
Yeah.
And
He just seems like an asshole, man. He doesn't seem like a
Yeah.
fun guy to hang around. He seems
Probably
like a
not.
terrible teammate. Obviously, after that report came out, it was proven that everything that bad thing you've ever heard about Aaron Rodgers is true. If you haven't read it, you could look it up on Bleacher Report. It's about Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy and kind of how their entire relationship's gone on behind closed doors over the last, 12 years or however long it's been since, they've been together. What was it, 2005 when McCarthy got hired?
about.
So damn near 14 years then. Great article,
This is
though.
long overdue.
Absolutely. If you just want to read good journalism, it's a great article just in that aspect.
What were some of your personal biggest surprises of the NFL draft?
I think one of the biggest was, and this is one of the worst, this is a bad surprise, I think was the Raiders taking Clelin. Is that how you say his name?
Clelin Ferrell.
Clelin Ferrell. I think that was a terrible move. You heard all week from all the different talk shows and radio hosts that Gruden had said and Mayock had said that there was going to be a big surprise at 4, right? Well, there was a big surprise at 4. They took out of all the fucking defensive linemen that were available in this draft. That was your first pick. He was the worst of the 3 main ones from Clemson. It makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. Somebody please hire me as a GM.
I'm going to try to make some sense of it for you.
I will win championships for you. I play Madden franchise all the time. We do fantasy drafts. I'm fucking great at it.
It's not the same.
Oh, it's so
Just put
insane.
that on your resume and send it in.
I do fantasy drafts. Madden fantasy drafts all the time.
And I'm like dope at it.
Super dope. My teams go like 14-2.
Clelin Ferrell is your prototypical edge 10 sack a guy year. Or like 10 sacks a year guy.
I don't think he's going to be that guy.
He was easily the most disruptive. And you're a guy that looks at numbers a lot. He had the best numbers of all those linemen. He had the most sacks. He had the most tackles for loss. He had all of it.
I'm a big numbers guy, but I'm also an intangibles guy.
Also,
especially when it comes to football.
When you look at a guy like Josh Allen, in comparison, he's a little bit more undersized, has to play a little bit more off ball. This guy is 6'4", 6'5", 270. He's going to stand in there. He's going to hold the edge. He's going to be able to crush down on collapse the end. And I think that this is exactly why the NFL draft is so great, because you get to see the fluctuation of opinions from each and every individual organization, right? So I didn't necessarily understand it at the time. I probably would have picked Josh Allen if I was sitting there at the fourth spot.
100% you picked Josh Allen. 100%. When's the
this dude has a much
Let me give you my
better
argument.
Body of work.
Let me give you my argument.
Go ahead. I mean, that's fine. That's how we're doing.
Yeah, and I respect your opinion on this because
I still think that Josh Allen's a better prospect, but he might not have been a better prospect for their specific system.
I get what you're saying about the stats, and for most sports, I do look at stats. If it comes to baseball, I look at analytics and stats. When it comes to basketball, I look at analytics and stats.
Basketball's the one game where you can't look at the numbers.
Yes, you can. But we're not in basketball, so we won't argue about that. We'll put that off to the side, and we'll do that in episode 4.
Or 5.
But first off, the sack as a stat can be misleading.
Sure.
Because all it takes is one game, and this has happened on numerous occasions.
There's a dude last year that had 5.
Exactly. You can get 5 sacks in a game.
Adrian Claiborne.
You always, every fucking year.
Against Dallas.
There's always, each team always has the fluffers on their schedule. They always have one or two fucking, they always have the one FCS team. They always have the low levels of their division. I mean, the ACC, it's not like they're top heavy. The ACC I consider to be tied with the Big Ten for number 2. And when it comes to, how good of a conference they are. But the bottom half of the ACC is fucking atrocious. It's really the top half that's good. So, they're playing shit competition half their games. I would like to see who Farrell got those sacks against, because Josh Allen is such a... When's the last time you heard of
Josh
Kentucky?
Allen could most likely has that same situation where they rolled over a couple teams and probably packed up 3-4 sacks a game against teams
but
that aren't
still
in the SEC.
That's
fine.
When's the last time you heard
the
of Kentucky?
ACC? I believe you had the ACC is the second best division.
I said them in the Big Ten. I put pretty much right there. I think the Big Ten is a better division overall when you can, how do I want to say that? Big Ten is better looking at each team. I think there's more depth to the Big Ten. I think the ACC is very top heavy. My question is,
going to end up we disagree there, but it's okay. We don't want to get into that.
My thing is, when's the last time Kentucky has been relevant and it wasn't college basketball?
Who was that quarterback? Wore the visor. That was the last time.
I don't fucking know. Because when was the last time Kentucky was good? Was it with that quarterback with the visor?
I forget his name.
Dude, quarterback guru. Who was it?
What's his name? Thank you.
Andre Woodson?
That's the last time they were relevant.
Exactly.
I blew that on my ass.
That was great.
And before that,
fantastic job.
Before that, it was the hefty lefty.
So, Kentucky is not a relevant football team. They play in the toughest conference in the United States. And the main reason the superstar from that team that led them to being as good as they were this year was Josh Allen. That translates to the NFL normally.
No, I totally agree with you. I want to take a differentiating opinion. That's
No, I feel you.
I just
I'm
wanted
not,
to try
like
to
I said, I
lay it out
respect
there.
your opinion on Farrell. I just think they assessed him and drafted him way too high.
Yeah,
I think Dexter Lawrence or
Farrell comes from a military background.
Christian
They
Wilkins
probably
is a much better pick.
Farrell comes from a military background. They probably put a lot of stock into the character of this pick as well.
Fair enough.
And I'm not saying Josh
Fair
Allen has character concerns. I don't know that, but they are the ones that did the research. And if that's what they decided, Mike Mayock, he's the guy that essentially made that decision with John Gruden. He was working for ESPN or on NFL stuff just last year. He was doing what we do.
Yeah.
Essentially for them.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a NFL draft analyst, but he's well regarded. I think we're okay, Jay.
Is that fine?
What was that beep?
It sounded really loud in the headphones.
It was on that computer.
Holy shit. God, that picked it up all the way over
Just
here.
to make sure it's not that.
So second biggest surprise, though, and another bad one for me was, and this is actually, it's a bad one, but it's a great one. Thank you for doing it. The Packers at 12 picked, is Rashawn Gary or is it Rashawn Gray?
I think it's Gary.
Okay, for the DN from Michigan.
Yeah, nobody had him hot.
It's like, thanks for wasting your pick on basing it off of size and what he was supposed to do at Michigan that he fucking did none of.
What's his name?
I believe it's Rashawn Gary.
Let's look this up real quick. I want to see.
He's the intangibles. His fucking height, vert,
Gary.
speed is fucking off the charts. For his size and his speed, he should be forced to be reckoned with, and he was not very good at Michigan.
Yeah, they drafted him to replace Clay Matthews, who's
Yeah.
gone, obviously.
To the Rams, who have an endless supply of money, apparently.
6'4", 275. So
He ran like a 4.6, I think.
is he going to play standing up, too? Is he going to play are they still running a 3-4?
I would think they're still running a 3.4, so I would figure that he's probably going to be an edge.
Like an outside backer. Looking at this guy, he kind of looks like he might end up having to play some 5-tech, man. He's big.
But he's fast. He's real fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
Yeah.
But he's not good.
Dude, at the end of the day, you have to. These guys, this is their job. You have to
I think
value.
draft analysts suck at their job.
Well, here we go. We suck at our job.
No, I think I'm fucking fantastic. Did I not mention the Madden fantasy draft earlier?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're good.
I think I think draft analysts, and I think it's in all sports, I think the fucking tools that they use to analyze players are outdated. I really do.
In football.
In football, I think it's in all sports. I think in baseball, they're getting better. They're starting to use analytics way more than they ever used before.
And usage rates in basketball are becoming more common.
Exactly. In football, they still have this this outdated,
Prehistoric.
yes, prehistoric, outdated view of, what a good prospect is.
Too many people are stuck in their ways. They just think it can be this way when,
Yeah, I don't know. What were some of your surprises? What are some good ones that you had? Those were two bad ones. Good one for me because hopefully the Packers fucking are bottom barrel shit for the next 35 years because they've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers back to back, so they deserve to be bottom barrel trash for a long time.
One of the the biggest thing leading up here was what were the Giants going to do at 6, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yes.
But that kind of dictated what surprised me.
Was it Washington?
Which was a culmination of the whole Dwayne Haskins scenario kind of surprised me, in a sense that the Dolphins passed on him and traded for Rosen, and essentially got the number 1 quarterback in this year's class for a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah. I mean,
that surprised me a little bit. That that they felt that good about Rosen or bad about Haskins. That trade went down.
If you remember last week's episode, I said that I'm not big on Haskins. I feel like a lot of people are, and I don't get it.
People love him. They think he's got the size, the arm. the mobility, and he's not a mobile quarterback. He's a stand in the pocket quarterback. Yeah, he had 50 touchdowns, but and he's got some zip. But the accuracy, I've seen him miss a lot of receivers,
A lot of throws.
a lot of throws.
It's just an Ohio State quarterback, and they just don't produce them. They're not a quarterback fucking university, man.
So the second part of that
I don't
was
think he's got it.
It really surprised me that he ended up in Washington.
Yes, that was surprising.
But that's
I didn't
like
see that coming.
like he's going home. Like that's like him going. Oh yeah,
What?
he called that. Yeah,
Oh, they did.
but it surprised me a little bit. But it's like one of the best scenarios that he could really have gotten into, where they're hoping, everything works out with Alex Smith, but they've got Case Keenum there also to bridge the gap to Haskins. I mean, dude, here's the thing: if you're picking your future quarterback, you're most likely not, in round one, you're most likely not looking at making the playoffs this coming year, right?
Yeah.
So this is a perfect opportunity for Case Keenum to start all year long and be mediocre and do what he does, and then Denver comes in and drafts Drew Lock.
Denver had one of the, I would say, top drafts. I don't know. I haven't read any of the reports yet on where the experts graded people, but I thought Denver did a fantastic job. I thought,
even
and I'm not high on Drew Lock, but anytime you can get being projected as a first round talent in the second round after you already traded back in the first round just to get more assets
into a situation where he doesn't even have to play right away either. It's the opposite of what they did with Paxton Lynch, and they got burned badly when they did that. They traded mad assets to go up and go get Paxton in front of Dallas. That's what they were worried about, is Dallas taking him. And they traded up to get him, and he just totally it backfired. And this is the opposite. They got their quarterback in free agency. They slow played it, and the guy that they wanted fell right into their lap in round 2.
I did want to say this about the Broncos too. One of the good things they did with that value, I think because I don't think Drew Lock's going to be like this savior quarterback. For one of my buddies who's a Broncos fan, for his sake, I hope that he ends up being that. But I think value-wise, getting a first-round graded quarterback in the second round is great. And they picked up Noah Fant, however you want to say his last name.
I love him.
Is a great pick. Great pick for them. So I think that's great. You'll have Locke sit behind Flacco. And no matter your opinion on Flacco,
they're doing it the right way.
He knows football. He could read a defense. He's good at it. He had a great career. Okay, he's obviously on the back end of that now, but he's going to teach Drew Lock at least a little bit.
I mean, you have to say what you have to say and support your team, but Elway said that he believes that Flacco has entered, just now is entering into his prime as a quarterback, which for quarterbacks like 31, 32, that's...
Flacco's like 35. Flacco's old.
Let's look.
Did John Elway actually say that?
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker needs to be tested for CTE.
He probably has it.
Came out in
Flacco is
the year after Cutler, so Cutler's
2007.
34.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jay Cutler, we like to do this with pretty much any prospect, but it's fun, is to compare them to who they could be. And I think that Drew Lock is actually like one of the closest we've had to Cutler. Like, I think that's a very
4.6 40.
Very
cannon arm.
Very close comparison.
It's fair. I agree. Now, the one that I said that, and this is an interesting one because it's been getting a lot of flack. It's been getting a lot of airtime on all the radio shows. Last week, I said that I think the best quarterback prospect of this draft, which I do believe was a weak quarterback draft class, would be Daniel Jones. The Giants ended up drafting Daniel Jones at 6, which I think a lot of people were surprised with because they thought that they were going to go with Haskins. And I have to fucking say this on the air. Nicky Delmonico just hit a 3-run bomb in the bottom of the 9th for a fucking walk-off win for my White Sox. That a boy, Nicky. Back on topic, though.
Now that we've
Daniel
closed
Jones.
White Sox watch, excuse me.
But back on Daniel Jones. They're getting a lot of flack about it because they're saying that the reason they took Daniel Jones so high was because if they didn't, other teams were going to. What that really sounds like to me is backtracking. Like, why not come out and say that this was our guy, we believe in him, and we think that he's going to be the answer for the New York Giants for the next 15 years.
I think that The only way that makes sense contextually if it is in response as to why they didn't wait to take Daniel Jones at 17.
I think that's what they were saying. I think that's
So
what it was
contextually
related
that
to.
makes sense. He wouldn't. We didn't want somebody to jump up and take him.
It's still. I get what you're saying.
And
I'm,
Washington was trying to jump up to
Washington
5
wanted Haskins.
to take him.
Washington
Is
wanted
what
Haskins.
that could have been a smokescreen. We don't know. We're not in the war room, so we don't know.
Yeah, there's no way Washington was thinking about going to trade up to get Daniel Jones. They wanted Haskins, and he fell right into their lap. That's why it was. The Redskins Instagram reported that their pick was fucking Haskins before the pick actually even happened in real time. There was like 4 minutes left on the clock when the actual Instagram post went out.
That stuff happens. That's not. But here's the thing.
It just proves to me that they knew exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, well, Daniel Jones was drafted at 6, so of course they knew that if Haskins is on the board, we're taking him there.
I think that was their guy all
They
along.
still might, but we don't know. We don't see. We haven't seen a picture of what their board looked like.
Regardless,
so we don't know.
I still think and I get what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with anything you're
Yeah.
saying by any
No,
means.
no,
I
I
think you're right saying that in context, that's what makes sense.
It has to be.
For me, if that was your dude, why are you I get you're making it. I think it's a built-in excuse almost that you could say it's the context of it. Just come out and say that it's your fucking guy.
I'm not a fan of Gettleman. I don't think he has a plan at all.
I don't really care. I'm not a Giants fan. I don't care about Dave Gettleman.
You trade
Dan
you
Gettleman,
trade
whatever the fuck his name
Odell.
is.
You trade Odell for Jabril Peppers and Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, these teams that keep doing this thing of trading their really good players for picks in which they pick college players that they don't know if they're going to be good, but they're the same position like the Raiders did. It's just like
You have to hit on these picks.
Exactly. You have to, or
You've
it
got to
makes
be
you
like
look
Danny Ainge.
really bad.
You got to be like Danny Ainge.
You're not wrong there. But I do think Daniel Jones is actually the best prospect, and I go back to what I said about the Josh Allen, Cleveland Farrell situation. Duke is not a good football team. Daniel Jones took Duke and put them on the map last year and actually had a good season with Duke with nothing around him. Was Shaquille
No, he's
Powell
gone.
still there from
He's
Gorman?
gone. He's gone.
Nothing. Literally less than fucking nothing. Name one other player from Duke.
He was a nice spark plug.
He was a good running back, but that was
the
they
only
had
other
nothing.
the only other Duke player that I can name right now was not there with Daniel Jones either, and that's Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
I can't name another one.
Now I want this.
Jamison Crowder was there with Shaq.
I'm interested to see what that kid's gonna do with actual weapons. He has Saquon Barkley as a safety net now, and fucking who the Giants have a receiver this year? I know Odell's gone.
They just paid Sterling Shepard.
Sterling Shepard's gonna be there,
They have Evan Ingram, who's a tight end.
tight end.
Um,
So
there's other guys at receiver.
he's
too.
gonna have weapons, and he's got one of the best weapons
the
in the NFL
biggest
with
issue
Saquon.
the biggest issue that they have is the offensive line and their ability to protect the quarterback. It's been the issue that they had.
That's been a
with
big
Eric
issue.
Eric Flowers there. I believe Solder didn't Solder come over too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been good. So it's a good thing where if Daniel Jones is your guy, which the connection obviously makes sense. Cutcliffe, Eli, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him. Everybody's hating on it. I understand it, and I'm a Cowboys fan, and I hate the Giants, but not out of spite. I support this pick.
Yeah, I thought I'm not.
I support
angry at it
both
at all.
of these picks. This Dexter Lawrence pick at 17, people are not fond of either. And
I think it's a good pick. I think Dexter Lawrence was the second best.
before the
fucking-
PED thing came out. He was a top 15 lock.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah, that's a red flag. But if you're confident, if you've done your research, you're confident in him and his persona and his ability to be a role player and a member of the team and lead and come in and go to work every day. Then at 17, and you've got the infrastructure, then that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
okay to
agree.
take a chance like that.
So, homerisms. How do you think the Cowboys did?
With their first round draft pick, they got Amari Cooper.
That's fair.
The caveat to that is they're going to have to pay him big time money here very
Yes,
soon.
they will.
But they didn't trade for him knowing that they wouldn't pay him.
That was a problem that they wanted to have.
Yeah, they're going to pay him. They're going to give him top dollar. He's going to get his money. That if anybody wants to argue that, you're wrong.
Yeah.
He's going to get his money. Their first actual pick was a defensive tackle out of Central Florida, Tristan Hill. If you can draft defensive line, I think that you feel pretty solid about the rest of that roster. I think there was a safety on the board that they passed on instead of him. So to take a guy that's going to rotate, because the Dallas has that defensive line where they count on eight guys, where it's a constant rotation. Marinelli does a great job.
Rod Marinelli
Great job with those guys. He had Tristan sign a contract, not his rookie pay contract. He had him sign a contract, and he has all of his players, all of the defensive linemen come in, whether it be a free agent or a draft pick. They all have to abide by this contract, and it's just that you're going to come to work every day. You're going to get better every day. The what's in it. We don't have that information, but Marinelli, for Marinelli to get his way and have the first, Marinelli to get the first guy, this guy has to be special. Yeah. But it's also covering them in the event that if what's going to happen with Tyron Crawford when his deal's up. There's other things here, so they do need depth also.
That's true.
Malik Collins is also another guy that's going to be coming up on his contract too. So while they're really deep right now, defensive line, changes are happening, so you have to cover yourself. And if he's your best player on your board, if you've got a top 20 grade on this defensive tackle and he's there at 58, you got to pull the trigger. That team is too complete all the way around at every position to not take somebody that's that high on your board. Mm-hmm. You have to take best player available. That's how these teams get better. Stacking good players on top of good players.
You need good players.
Right, but
you need to fill holes sometimes. When you don't have a hole to fill, you need the best player.
What I mean by that is the balance between drafting for need and drafting best players, and you want to kind of balance between the two of them, but you don't want to hesitate to load up a position if the player is glaringly better.
Yeah.
You don't want to find yourself reaching for other positions down,
Don't take a guy that's going to be a C player for a position you need over a guy that could be an A in another one.
In layman's terms.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you got?
Two quick ones for the Bears. I actually thought the Bears didn't have a first-round or second-round pick this year because of the Khalil Mack trade.
So with their first and second-round pick, they drafted Khalil Mack.
Fucking
We're in the
with
same
me.
situation. It's kind of funny, right?
Yeah, we really
both
are.
of us are okay with it.
Totally okay.
No, it's okay.
Both have top 5 defenses.
I didn't think I would live to see the day that the Cowboys had a scary defense.
And they do. And the Bears have a scary defense as well, and I think they actually got better this offseason. A lot of people didn't agree with the Clinton Dix signing, but personally, I loved it. Adrian Amos was probably the 10th or 11th best player on that defense. Now Aha's coming in to play next to Eddie Jackson, who he played with at Alabama. Aha is way more of a playmaker, while Adrian was much more of a run stopper. So I think that's a great fit.
Where did Amos go?
Amos went to Green Bay, actually. So he's went to the rival, which I disrespect.
Penn State.
And he went to Penn. So I did respect him from being a Penn State guy. Came to the Bears, loved him. He's with the Packers. He can go fuck himself. Draft-wise, though, I liked what the Bears did with what they had. We traded up in the 3rd round to get Devin Montgomery from Iowa State, which I love as a pick. I think he was actually one of the best running backs in the draft. Running back is not a position that is, widely touted anymore. It's not highly valued. And I think they got a really good running back at a good spot in the draft who will come in right away and produce next year because he's a big running back who could run for power, but he could also catch the ball to the backfield. And Nagy loves to utilize a 3 running back system. So now he has Mike Davis, Tariq Cohen, and Devin Montgomery. So I think
Mike Davis he used to play for Seattle, and he's from South Carolina. Mike Davis.
Yes, it is.
Still in the league, huh?
He is. He actually had a great year last year. It was
for
his most
the Bears?
No, for Seattle.
Okay.
It was his most productive year since he's been in the NFL.
That Seattle depth chart is just all banged up.
It is. So I love that pick. And then the 4th round, we took Riley Ridley, who was Calvin Ridley's little brother out of Georgia. I love that pick as well. For some reason, he dropped to 4th because of they say he doesn't have the big playmaking ability. I think that's bullshit. I think that you learn that. I don't think that's necessarily something that you just have.
All the receivers that were touted as 1st-round picks all fell to the 2nd round.
I can't believe DK Metcalf fell as far as he did.
All the 2nd-round receivers were taken in the 1st.
Yeah, that was
so
insane.
crazy how that happened. I've never seen anything like that.
But yeah, I think the Bears had a good draft. I got no problems. I think you'll see Riley Ridley and Devin Montgomery contribute right out the gates. I do.
I'll go ahead and take this one. You've had the
Yeah.
pleasure of taking the last two.
Do you want me to do the call, or do you want to call it?
You can call it if you want.
Oh, fuck yeah. Today's biggest piece of shit is...
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
D'Angelo Russell.
And why is D'Angelo Russell today's biggest piece of...
Shit. He got arrested, man. Dummy.
It's really stupid, too.
You're in the middle of, like, having the best season. Face of a franchise.
I just got to do something. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Get off the weed. Get off the weed. That's my best Stephen A. impression.
Don't take it to the airport.
Yeah. So that's
Fucking for real.
That's what happened. He all right, so I don't know if you've ever been to a smoke shop, the audience, but they in one of the glass containers next to your pipes and your tobacco products and your vapes, they have containers. They look like different things. Arizona can, a Pepsi can.
Yeah.
Like aerosol cans, WD-40.
Supposed to trick the authorities.
You basically unscrew the tops and they pull this compartment out and then you stash down in there and then put the top back on. He tried to do that with the Arizona iced tea at LaGuardia Airport in New York.
Dude,
What are you thinking?
fucking Christ, man.
Where the fuck were you going?
Doesn't matter where you're going.
I know, like what?
Just buy weed wherever you're going. You make millions of dollars.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You're gonna tell me he's gone everywhere already? You're gonna tell me wherever you're going, you don't know a homie?
This must have been some surefire, fucking loud ass weed, man. Like
What's the most conservative state in the whole U.S., JD?
Utah or Kansas.
Yeah, what was he flying to fucking Utah?
Probably not. Probably to like Vegas.
Yeah, he's probably
Going to California.
He's probably flying to Vegas where it's recreational.
It's just dumb, dude. It's just dumb.
Dumbest thing ever, man.
Just wait till you fucking get to wherever you're going. You make millions of dollars. You could have somebody go buy you some more. Like I'm telling you, it had to be the most fire ass dank of all time. Why the fuck are you bringing it on the plane? It makes no sense. That's
Just
why D'Angelo Russell is
Just
the what?
mail it to yourself.
What is he?
The biggest piece of
The
shit.
biggest piece of shit today.
Today's biggest piece of shit.
Yeah. Good God, dude. Smoke all the weed you want, but to get arrested because you're trying to get it through an airport? First off, rookie mistake. Obviously, it's like,
That's
yeah.
why.
Rookie move.
That is a rookie move. At least it wasn't Damon Stoudemire where he tried to get it through the airport in tinfoil.
Mike Vick got caught with he used the water bottle as a bong. He tried to bring the water bottle bong on the plane.
You know how dumb that is?
It's so stupid, dude.
All right. Well,
These guys are fucking idiots, man.
like we've had some. The first two episodes we've had big pieces of shit. First one was the MLB. So it's like that one I was mad at. Then last week I was really mad because it was the Knights thing. This one's just like my brain hurts.
It's like
'cause just the
disappointing.
stupidity of
It's
it.
like you thought he'd finally get it. Like you have the issues in LA where he didn't grow as much as he needed to. And, he didn't reach his potential. Then he's in the locker room Snapchatting and teammates private conversations, which I don't condone his actions, but even still, like that shit's private. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
that was
like,
a terrible teammate move.
yeah, it's just like fucked up all the way you look at it. And like he finally gets a restart, and he finally has a great year, like balling. He's balling out
Yeah,
of
I'm
his
just gonna
mind.
put this weed in this fake Arizona iced tea can. Of course, that's not gonna get picked up on the X-ray machine.
What are you thinking?
I don't know, man. All right, well, fucking.
Thanks for joining us
Yeah,
again.
thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. And as always, anything that you guys want to ask, criticisms, please send it to us. Message, comment, whatever you got.
Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe. This is the
DM
Grip It and
us.
Rip It podcast with Stock and Tops. I'm Danny Tops,
I'm Chris Stockwell.
and we will see you guys next time.